Hi everyone, it's Karen with Inspired by Graham. Tonight I'm going to make card number 4 using Reindeer Days Designer Series paper along with Reindeer Fun stamp set and 2 other stamp sets. So we'll be using 3 different stamp sets tonight. On the inside we've just got some very simple stamping. We're using cherry cobbler, ink, pool party, and white powder, and we're going to be heat embossing the sentiment here. So we're going to start with some heat embossing first because that usually takes a little bit longer than anything else. So let me grab our kits, and I'm going to be making 2 cards tonight because I have 2 kits left from my class previously. So let me grab everything that needs to be stamped is going to be put in one pile. And then everything else, so here's that, let me just put it on the white here. So here's the image that one of the dies cuts out. And then this one over here, I'm not going to be using this one tonight, but I did want to show you this image here also has a die and is in the designer paper. And it makes it really super fun to be able to die cut some images. All right, we need this one. We need to actually have a lot of stamping tonight. I'll try to whip through it as quickly as I can. Got one more panel somewhere. There it is. Okay, so everything over here needs to be stamped. These 2 as well. And then these can be just set aside, and we'll be assembling the card after we get done all of the stamping. So I'm going to be working with my photopolymer stamp sets. All of them are photopolymer stamp sets. So I've got my piercing mat here. And we are going to heat emboss the cherry cobbler circles. So the first thing we want to do is take our embossing buddy. And I keep mine in just a little plastic container here. It's a bag of cornstarch. And I'm going to rub it over the front top of that circle. And along with this one, it's going to take away any debris that might be on the cardstock, static, fingerprints, what have you. And now let me bring this a little bit closer so I can see the stamp, or the sentiment I'm going to be stamping says Christmas is better together. And I thought that went really well with the little Bambi and the Mama Deer. So I'm going to be using the Versamark ink, and this is a clear sticky ink. And then we will add our powder to it. Let me stamp both circles. And you might be able to see, you can kind of see the sentiment there. So let me just re-ink one more time. At Christmas time is usually when I pull out my heat tool and my embossing powders, especially gold. I love gold at Christmas time. Okay, so we have both of those ready to go. I'm going to bring in my tray, is right to the side here, and this is going to catch any embossing powder that kind of gets in the way. I did notice the other night when I made the other card, the Mayor, this one here, I did have powder on my desk, so I've got this as a little air catch-all. So let's see, I'm going to use the tweezers as well. All right, so I'm going to just pour this on here, tap it, and then I'm just going to check and see if there's any remnants of little spots in here and there. It looks like it's pretty good, so let's set that one over there, and we're going to grab the other circle, and we're going to add the powder once again. Okay, that looks pretty good too. So I noticed when, oops, see, this is what I want to show you. So the embossing powder went onto the tweezers here, and it left a little bit of powder on the cherry cobbler circle. So what I need to do is I need to brush it off with this little brush here. I'm just going to go back really carefully. If I don't do this, then I'm going to have little speckles on the cardstock. So I think I got it all. Now let's pour this right back into my container. So this thing has a little screw cap here. And then I just take my brush and I just brush it out. I will also, because this time of year, it's really hard to get this 100% clean because of the static and how dry it is, I will take this to my sink and clean it out as well. You can also take a disinfecting wipe to do that too, which I'll probably do because my craft room is upstairs in my house, so that'll be much quicker to do that. All right, so let me put this aside. Let's cap it so I don't lose that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wipes and clean these tweezers because I need to use the tweezers while I'm heat bossing. Okay, I've grabbed a disinfecting wipe and you can see my hands are still all Cajun craze from the battle I had with the refill. I'm not sure if I said that I was cleaning or actually adding ink to all my ink spots. Got them prepped and ready to go for my next class. I love ink spots because you can take them on the road with you wherever you're going, and you can still take paper crafting with you. I usually take them to my in-person classes just in case people want to try different colors. But you want to make sure these are super clean because we don't want any powder on those tweezers. Let me also cap this because if you heat emboss and your powder's open, I'm just going to say you're going to have a mess. Okay, I'll bring in my heat tool. Let me grab one of these circles, get it ready. I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to setting number 2, which is there's a 0, 1, and a 2. Slide it all the way and I'm going to let this heat up for about 10 seconds and then I'm going to create some magic for you. Okay, so I'm bringing the heat to the embossing powder and the Versamark ink, and it's heating up. You don't want to stay in one particular area because you will scorch your white or you could actually burn your paper. Now the sentiment here, Christmas, is starting to turn white, and you can see when it's done. Some of the smaller letters or objects that you're stamping, sometimes it's a little difficult to see, but you want to just make sure, just turn this up, you want to make sure it's all nice and set, because if it's not and you got loose powder, you're going to have to do it all over again. So I'm going to set this aside and it will dry or cool off. It's already dry. And I'm going to bring in number 2 sentiment and we'll do the same. Since my heat tool is already pretty warm, I can take it right to the sentiment and we're gonna heat this one up. You can also heat from the back side. I tend to always just heat from the front side. This one won't take as long because the heat tool's already nice and warm. Okay, I think that is all set. Let's put that one over there to cool off. Definitely use your tweezers when you're heat embossing because that heat tool is pretty warm and most certainly you could burn yourself. So just be careful with that. Okay, I think we're done with that. Actually, we need to stamp. So I am going to be stamping my inside panels first. And then my envelope, let me think what I want to stamp on it. I think I will stamp the little bells I've used before. I think they're super cute. So let me grab that one here. I'm gonna stamp, actually I'm gonna stamp my envelopes first. Let's get rid of the cherry cobbler ink. I can maybe match my hands. All right, so I'm just going to stamp over here in the corner. See, aren't those cute? I love those. And then we are going to do that one more time. Just make sure your envelope flap is going the correct way before you do stamp. All right, that's all set. Now the next step is going to be, let me do the inside panels because that is also cherry cobbler. This message, it says, thinking of you with warm feelings and a wish for all the merriest. It comes from the Peaceful Seasons dies. And let me just bring you the stamp sets. I haven't even showed them to you. This is the Reindeer Fun Bundle. And And this is Peaceful Season. It's all sentiments, all really good sentiments. I love it at Christmas time. And then on the back side, I'm going to be stamping happiness inside, which I've been doing all week. Sharing, Loving, Crafting is the stamp set that the message comes from. All right, so I've just got that there. I'm going to set that over here. And then we'll stamp one more time, kind of in the middle, off to the left side a little bit. This is all set and done. Close that up. And I'm going to put this way up here. Versamark out of the way. Now we're going to bring in Pool Party and the little tiny snowflakes here. Pool Party is in the Designer Series paper. It's not in the patterns that I'm using today, but it does match and coordinate nicely. So we're just going to stamp randomly these little snowflakes and dots. And we want to come all the way, like kind of make an arch like this. And some of it's going to be covered and some won't be, but I'm just trying to get that arch to kind of go way over here. The circle's going to cover that area. If you wanted to just double check, you could put your little Mama and Bambi there, and then you could take a sentiment and then just put it over here and just check and make sure that you have all the snowflakes where you want them. I think I'm going to stamp one more down by where her head is going to be. So right about here. All right, so that is the first one. The next one we'll do the kind of the same thing. Let me start over here. And I like to rotate my paper as well when I'm doing the same stamp image. My stamp is still in the same position. However, I'm not stamping the same pattern. Okay, so there is a little bit more snowflakes in the first one. Pool Party's all set. And we will assemble the cards. So we are going to do the same thing. So we've got both card bases and we have some designer paper from the Reindeer Days. It is on sale for $10, regularly priced at $12.50. So the size of your designer paper should be 5 1/4 by 4, and it's going to be adhered to some great, sorry about that, garden green cardstock at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, squared at 4 1/4. Oh my goodness, I worked today, so that's what happens when I videotape at night. I just oh, I'm kind of tired. So I've kind of been up since 5 o'clock. So, and it's probably 8 p.m. right now. So you can tell I've had a pretty long day. And that darn Cajun craze refill got me, got the best of me. All right, so we're going to just adhere this right down. We've got equal borders on the top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, so that one is all set. And then we will do the same thing. I wonder what this would look like. Let's see. I think not so great because we're going to see the butt end of that deer, and I don't want to see that. Even if you move it over to here, you're not going to get any images. So we're going to move it over, turn it around, and it will be adhered just like the first one. Sometimes you can get away with that. It just all depends on where the pattern is and what size you're cutting to. Okay, again, this is 4 1/4 or 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so we have that one on there right now. The next step is going to be taking our rectangle, deckled rectangle, and we're going to add dimensionals to it, and we're going to adhere it to the card front at an angle. All right, so let's turn these both over, and I will grab my dimensionals off to the side here, and we are going to add 5 because in the middle we want that support for the Mama and Bambi. So again, all 4 corners and 1 in the middle. Make sure you have a piercing tool handy. That way you can easily take the backings off of this panel here and the dimensionals. So I've just got an old piercing tool that we've had. I love this one. It's great. We also have the take your pick tool, which comes with different tools as well. This one is just a piercing tool. All right, so that one is all set. Let's take the dimensional backings off this panel here, and then we will add this to the front of the card. All right, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna angle it, and I want a little bit more space up here because the circle's gonna be going up here. So that means I'm gonna move it over this way. So it's pretty close to the edge. So 1/4 of an inch and maybe like 1/2 of an inch down here. Okay, and let's do the same thing with this one. Okay, the next one is the little deer. So we'll flip this one over. And my dimensionals went somewhere. Here they are. All right, so I think 3 or 4 will work on this. So I'm just looking for the biggest area. Looks like 4. Actually, I'm going to put 1 in there, even though it's kind of tight. You can also take mini dimensionals. Let me grab I've got some mini dimensionals here. I like to use my piercing tool to take these off. So they're really, really small, and they're great for areas like right there on the leg. Let me put one over here. I'll put them on all 4 down towards the bottom there. Okay, so that one's all set. The next one, you're wondering, where is it, right? Well, I'm going to show you. I keep my dies in my stamp case. So if it's a bundle, they go in here. And I wanted to show you how you can die cut out those images. So here's one of the images. I've already pre-cut it, but I haven't popped it out. So there's one little deer, and then here's the mama and Bambi. So isn't that super fun and cute? You can also stamp the reindeer images as well. So these dies will go back in here, and I keep them on our Stampin' Storage magnets. I find these are the best that I've ever used. They're super strong, and I rarely have any dies come off them. Okay, we are going to add our dimensionals to this one here. So since I've got my minis, let me grab those first, and we'll add them to the legs. You have to kind of go slow when you're adding the minis on a very small area. And if you have them go over the edge, then it's okay. You can just take your paper snips and snip off what you see. All right, the next step is to add the larger dimensionals on the bigger areas where there's designer paper. And I think that's good. Let's press those down real good. And then we take off these backings very carefully, because you're using designer paper and you don't want to rip it. And these are a little bit trickier to take off because they're smaller. So I'm just holding, wow, look at how strong those are. I'm just holding it down before I take the backing off, because believe me, you can easily rip those. Let's do the same thing with the other pair of reindeer here. We got 2 large ones left, and then we'll start with the smaller ones. I found a dimensional backing outside of my house today. I wonder how that got there. They attach to every piece of clothing, jackets, I was loading my car yesterday for my class that I had, and I'm sure maybe that's where it came from. But I swear, I find them everywhere in my house. I'm sure you do too. Okay, so this is going to be an optical illusion, kind of. Don't pay attention to the edge here, you know, that's diagonal. You're going to pay attention to the feet and the card base, because you want this going straight. You don't want it going up like this, right? That doesn't make any sense. So we will add this one lightly. I'm going to pick it up and look. And I need to just rotate it just a little bit more. Oops, that's too much. There. Okay, so you can see, I didn't check ahead of time, but there is a little bit of a dimensional right here. I'm going to try to shove it in there. But sometimes it doesn't work. And let me try my piercing tool. That might work too. Just want to get it out of sight. I could also peel this off and put one back on there, but I don't want to go to that step and risk tearing the legs there. All right, we're going to do the same step with this one. Again, don't look at this diagonal. You're looking at the feet and the card base, the garden green. That looks good. Next step is to add our sentiment. And to do this, we need to see how this level is already up. We don't want to put a dimensional on this side because it's going to raise it up, and then your sentiment is going to be like at an angle. So underneath the Christmas on this side, you're going to add your glue. So just add my glue right here. And then you can take 2 dimensionals. Oh, shoot. Did I? No, I didn't. Oh, I put it on the wrong side. Of course I did. So one goes here. Oh boy, it's going to be interesting. And then the glue goes over here. And now we're going to adhere this. And what I'm kind of looking for is the space between the mama deer and the edge over here. I don't want to go over the edge because then it may not fit in your envelope. Okay. All right, that one's pretty good. Let's add the same one. And I'll get this one right for you. So liquid glue under this side, right? And then the Stampin' Dimensional on the other side. Okay. And same thing. I'm going to look at Christmas and make sure it's straight, which it looks pretty good. Let's add the inside panels. And I'll just use my liquid glue since it's right here. You can also use Seal or Seal Plus. And we're just going to want equal borders all the way around. The next one. Okay, so those are in there. I'm going to flip these over because I need to stamp the happiness inside. And I've got garden green ink pad off to the side here, so I'm going to go tone on tone. So let's just stamp this right here. And again, and since I have this stamp out, I'm going to check and see if this one needs to be stamped. Yes, it does, so let's get that one completed. All right, guess what's next? We're going to add those peppermint dots and we will be all set. So let me just close this one up, grab my peppermints. And these come in 3 sizes. And like I said earlier in the week, they actually came available. I was able to order 2 packs, but then, like I said, they were going to go on back order and they didn't last probably more than half a day. So if you're looking for something very, very popular, you really got to check the inventory kind of on a daily basis. If you're a demonstrator, if you're a customer, you can ask your demonstrator that you work with. If you're not working with a current demonstrator, I'd love to earn your business as always. So you can give me a shout. My website is inspiredbygram.com. Oh, I need one more here. So I've got the medium. Let's see. Is that the same? Yeah. So I just need the medium one. Yeah, I'd like to earn your business. I'm really trying to bump it up even more than what it has been in the past. And I want to do this full-time once I can retire from my day job. So I did add that strip there. So let's try to see what it looks like if we don't do that. So what do you think I'm going to prefer? I'm going to prefer to add that strip. So I'm going to take this and just add it. I'm going to add it to this side over here. Normally I would have added this before I put it in the card, but I kind of forgot to do that. This one's cute. It's too bad that that reindeer head is cut off. I would have put that one in there. I really like that spruce tree. Okay, let's get that other one over here. And I'll just add this one over here. All right, so I'm going to show you all the cards we've made so far. If you've been following along, great. If you haven't and you're just coming to see this video, you can check back. I've got videos on the other cards I will be showing you in just a second. You can just, I'll try to tag one in the video at the end of the little description bar that comes across. Or you can just go to my Inspired by Gram playlist, and that's where I store all of my videos. All right, so this is the one we made today. And then our first card was this one here. It's super cute. I just love that bunny rabbit on the sleigh. And that one's got a cherry cobbler base. This is a fun fold, which is, oh wait, no. That's the one I'm making next. You got a sneak peek already. It's the same fun fold as this one, but it kind of looks different. It looks totally different than from this one. All right, so that's all white. And then the second day, we made all your days be full of cheer. And the inside of here, I used those little bells as well. So I've got one more video for you, and then I'm going to be switching over to Celebration. We have Celebration coming up in January, and I hope you take advantage of it. We're going to have a great sign-on deal. And if you're ever looking to join Stampin' Up, give me a shout. I would love to talk to you. All right, happy holidays, everyone, and be well.